The State of Real Estate with your host, Gerry Lantain.
Indeed, I am Gerry Lantain, and this is The State of Real Estate. Welcome to today's episode. We are going to be talking to Home and Garden Television Networks Canada's Rizwan Malik today, and we're going to be discussing some stuff about dressing up the outdoors now that the season's here and people are going to start wanting to get their homes in order. We're going to be doing some talking about how to dress up your outdoors, and you can see we're in a beautiful setting today here in Muskoka in a beautiful spring afternoon. First, we're going to get to the market report. The market report today is covering March 2020 to March 2021. And the information and statistics are brought to you by the Lakeland Association of Realtors. So starting off with the average price, extremely interesting. The average price from this March to last March has gone up by 68%. That's a phenomenal amount of number. And it just sort of shows you where the market is right now. It's kind of crazy and kind of hectic right now if you're a buyer. As I said, the average price is up by about 68%. And so the median price also is up by about 65%. New listings, this March are up by 57.1%. However, last year was the beginning of COVID and the restrictions put in, so that might have a bearing on that. Now, that being said, the new listings from February 2021 to this month, March 2021, have also doubled. So that might give a little bit of break to buyers on the market right now as more homes are coming on the market. But inventory and homes for sale in Muskoka is down by 49.7% from last year. So we still have a shortage of inventory on the market. Now, the other thing that's driving this situation is actual sales are up by 155%. over last March, which means there are many, many buyers trying to get homes. And another indicator of a hot market is the percentage of the original price. People are getting 104.1% of their asking price, which means most homes right now on average are selling for more than what they were listed for. Unfortunately, it's still a hot, crazy market. It's a seller's market. But as spring progresses, we may be getting more homes on the market, and this should ease off some of that tension, and it might not decrease the amount of multiple offers coming in, but it may just ease off a little bit as more homes hit the market. That is the market report for our March break. All right, welcome back to the episode. And as promised, we are here with Rizwan Malik, one of the hosts of HGTV Canada's Hot Markets. Rizwan, it's really nice to meet you.
Thank you for having me. Such a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Now, that's not your only title and claim to fame, is it? Being a host of a excellent, famous TV show. Tell the people who you are.
I might have a couple other titles kicking around. My name is Rizwan Malik. I'm also a Senior VP of Sales at Sotheby's International Realty Canada, the youngest to boot.
Wow, excellent.
Yeah, quite an achievement. And as you mentioned, I was also one of the hosts on HGTV's Hot Market last year.
Now, how exciting is that?
It was great. Filming the show was phenomenal. It was a great experience. Tons of new things to learn, and okay. It's still going. The show's still available on Stack TV, and people are still streaming and watching. Recently, I believe it was some network bought it in South Africa. So
wow, excellent!
The show's
going
making
international
around the world.
That's just great. Well, I hope it goes even bigger than that. So let's get into our little discussions about real estate.
Yeah.
One of your specialties, I understand, is being able to dress up homes or address certain situations within properties that need to be addressed to bring more value to the property. Mind explaining just a little bit about your process?
Sure. I mean, I think I'm not necessarily a one-trick pony. So yes, I can sell real estate. I can help clients buy real estate. That's not the issue. But then going one step further and helping them with design ideas or problem-solving ideas, especially this year where we noticed, with the pandemic and everything else, I, for the first time, dressed my own balcony, or I addressed my own balcony for the first time because I like sitting out there now and having a cocktail or my morning tea or working off my laptop because it's just a little bit of change of scenery. Yeah. So, with especially a lot of these downtown dwellings, there's not a lot of interior space. You're basically confined to four walls.
Yeah.
So be able to step out even onto a 40, 50, 60 square foot balcony, it's almost like your little oasis outside, even in your downtown dwelling.
Yeah, no, we need our outdoor space. We need our fresh air. We need our sunshine. We just need the expanse around us. So, no, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like so when it comes to like especially like balconies and stuff, like some of the recommendations I make to my clients is that it's important to also address the entire space, right? It's easy to throw a little bistro set, couple chairs and a table, and be like, okay, call it a day. But
Mhm.
you also want to make an environment, make it an experience for when you go out there. So it
Absolutely.
starts very easily, very quite simply with just even the flooring. So even if you go to a big box store like IKEA or Home Depot or wherever else, you can buy little tiles that'll like stick together or click in together
Right?
for about a dollar, $2 a square foot. You have a 50 square foot balcony. Put some of that flooring down. So now you've already anchored the space.
Right.
Like there's nothing worse than walking into someone's home and going into their living room and they don't have a rug under the coffee table. Like that rug is almost symbolic of anchoring that space or anchoring that living
Yeah.
room, right?
Great
So
use of words too. A great use of word like anchor. I mean, I understand that absolutely in terms of the whole principle of weight. See,
yeah,
for me, color, space, and situation, it's a weight,
yeah,
So if you pull something down, and then oftentimes too, I have clients and they're worried about there's a little pin line crack in the roof, and I'm like, well, your eye doesn't drift up; it drifts down.
yeah,
So
yes. But and that's just it, right? Like if you think about it, like I live in a fairly decent sized condo. Like my space in here, my kitchen, my dining room, and my living room, it's all open concept. So for
nice.
me to divide up the space without the walls, I'm using things such as rugs. So I have a massive rug that basically anchors the entire living room. Now that denotes where the living room goes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now the dining room is sectioned off, and the kitchen is sectioned off. So going back to the outdoor space, flooring is where it starts. So you
Yeah.
put down some tiles. They're durable. You're good to go. They're weather resistant. And then after that, you put some furniture on top of that. So get some seating, get a small little coffee table, or even like even a bistro set at that point. As long as you have the flooring down, get some seating outside, get a table, get a plant.
Yeah.
Like we
Absolutely.
live in a concrete jungle. Like
Yeah.
you were saying earlier, to get out there and get some as fresh as Toronto air gets. Yeah, not so bad. But have a plant on your balcony. I some clients who love to cook, I'll even suggest like do a little herb garden in the corner or do
Absolutely.
right, do something interesting like
Yeah.
be
Make
your
it
own
something
little
that gives
farmer.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, be
Yeah.
your own little
Yeah. Yeah.
grow your
What?
own stuff.
Yeah. What do you think about color then on the balcony? Color, like,
I'd stay fairly neutral. Like I think if you go with just like neutral tones, like the flooring should just be gray or maybe black, something
okay.
totally neutral. Your punch of color you can throw with toss pillows. Like you have furniture out there, you put a few cushions on there. Like
Yep.
that's your punch of color. And let's say if you get tired of it after a season or two seasons, you just swap them out. Right? It's
Right.
a simple, easy fix. I think your furniture or the key pieces should remain neutral because at least that way you're not investing in new furniture season after season.
Yeah. Because
Uh,
you can always change the accents.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
No, that's good. Yeah. And flowers as well offer that opportunity when you talked about the plants. So
Absolutely.
now,
Absolutely.
now here in Muskoka, most of us have a little more open space,
Just a
and then
little.
just a bit than you guys in Toronto. We do have our fair share of condominiums and people that have balconies. A lot of homes here have the upper deck, so it's not necessarily a balcony, but it's a deck.
Yeah.
And then we have our yards. Any kind of ideas? Like, so we're looking at a wood deck now
Yeah.
up here. What would you suggest to anchor wood, like a nice, because the wood tones. So where would you go with that?
So, like I would still recommend like like if you have a wooden deck, I would still recommend having an outdoor rug. So like using something durable like jute or something like actually going to be weather resistant. Throw that down, throw your furniture on top of that. It just makes the outdoors feel more like indoors. Like it just I don't know. It's a feeling like once you actually do that, like it's a fully encompassing feeling that you get when you walk out there, and it just feels like an extension of your home, not just an outdoor space where you have a Muskoka chair and you sit out there, look out at the lake, and have your beers, which is beautiful. Like I'm not taking away from that.
Yeah.
That I would love that right now. Actually,
It's funny that you mentioned that because my wife has a little, it's a waterproof kind of, I think it's made out of old plastic bags, but it's a carpet.
Yeah.
And she rolled that out the other day because it's spring now, and we put our furniture on that. And you're right, it does give it a sense of this is our space here now. This is part of our home and our space.
Yeah.
So
it gives that outdoor space a sense of purpose, right? It's not just furniture placed outside on a deck. Again, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's elevating that lifestyle. It's elevating your experience outdoors, right? So I think using like you said, a plastic or a composite for outdoors. I've seen clients who've put turf down.
Right.
Stays green year round.
Yeah.
Zero maintenance. So it's different ways that you can make things work. And especially because you're so lucky, you do have space. You probably have space for a fire pit. You probably have space for a lot of outdoor recreational activities.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm not blessed to have at this time.
Yeah.
I have a little outdoor fireplace,
Nice.
a little small burner on my balcony, but that's about
Perfect.
it.
Yeah.
But some of the other things that, I think you have the space for is, maybe doing an outdoor oven, doing an outdoor built-in barbecue, doing
Absolutely.
all sorts of things that help really prolong the outdoor living space.
Okay, we got to cut away to a break. This is going really fast. I like that, Rizwan. We're going to cut away for commercials, come back, and let's talk about enhancing the backyard and the outdoors with what you were just discussing, some of those bigger features. So we'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the State of Real Estate. I am Gerry Lantain, and we are here with the extremely talented Rizwan Malik. Rizwan, welcome back here. So let's just dive right back into it. We were discussing sort of beautifying outdoor spaces.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the outdoor chimneys or the chimneas or fire pits. Like, what would you recommend someone do? And again, it's about increasing the perception of the beauty of your backyard or your property. So what are some of the ideas you might have?
Yeah, so I mean, definitely having the outdoor fireplaces or fire pits or like, a cooking station outside. It's one way, like it's multi-purpose, right? So one way, yes, you're able to use this for its function, but also now you are prolonging the outdoors or your use of the outdoors. So let's say if it's a chilly evening in the spring, or a chilly evening in the fall, you can still sit outside.
Absolutely,
and enjoy a drink or a cocktail or like a conversation. Like sit outside and just enjoy your time because you've got the warmth from the fire pit or you've got the warmth of the fire. So it just basically instead of just using the outdoors for 3 or 4 months, you can now use it for potentially 6.5, 7 months. So to me, that's great. And you're out there, you're getting all this fresh air. Like I think there's nothing that compares to that.
It's funny too, because, when selling homes and I come around the corner, we go look around the outside of the house first, and then we come around with the client and there it is, the fire pit. And there's 4 or 5 chairs around it. And people literally picture themselves in it. Oh, I can see us having marshmallows. And it's this whole visualization of me or you or us being together at a space.
Yeah, because you know what? Because you're lucky, up in Muskoka, up where you are, the outdoors truly is the extension of the indoors. There is way more outdoor space than there is indoor space, right? So you have to be able to utilize that. Yes, it's beautiful to keep it preserved and like not really tampered with, but it's also nice to have function, right? I believe in having function,
Absolutely.
having multi-level decks, having different lookout points, different sitting points, right? Like I'm sure the way the sun hits the lake at different times of the day, you'll appreciate something new about that. So having a little seating area earlier, like, looking towards the sunrise and then maybe towards the sunset or middle part of the day.
Yeah.
I just think these are different things that people need to really, really consider so they get the full use and full benefit of the property that they've purchased.
Yeah. I've seen a number of people take screened in tents and, they plop it on a green piece of grass and put a chair or two in it. But then I've seen other people do much more what you're talking about, where actually you walk into it and it feels like I'm in an exterior extension room of this house. And it's not attached to the house. It's in the backyard, but it's got all its accoutrements in it. And it doesn't feel like you're in a tent anymore.
Yeah, it makes a world of a difference, right? It becomes an experience. It becomes joyful. And the thing is, if you can do it that way, you'll use it more often. The experience of being in that space, it'll draw you back over and over again.
Yeah, it's interesting. I like that concept about personalization of what is yours, as opposed to just a generic, oh, here's our deck. Okay, let's go back in. I've seen the view, gotta go, right? No, I want to stay here because look at that beautiful, lovely couch, and you've got these chairs, and like you mentioned, I don't know what your fireplace looks like, but there are some natural gas type little ones. They have little crystals and stones in them. They're maintenance free virtually, and they're gorgeous to look at, and they do cast warmth. So there's all these different options available.
Yes, tons of different options. And let's say you do a pizza oven outside. Let's say you do an outdoor barbecue that's built in with a griddle on the side. You're doing pancakes during on the weekends, and just basically spending as much time as you can in the outdoors. And you're spending time with friends and family and loved ones and just having a wonderful time.
I personally would love to have a brick oven in my backyard that has a little dome on top. It can make pizza or bread or whatever the heck I want. That would be wonderful. And they can be designed so beautifully. What do you think of using sort of patio stone placement instead of green space?
I think there's definitely there is a time and place for it. Like, for example, I'm looking at your background and it's lush. It's beautiful. So you have lots of green space. So I think to break that up, absolutely use patio stone, use flagstone, use whatever you can to give you a different texture outside.
So
right?
A designated area. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a play on a texture. It's a play on an outdoor space. And like I said, and when I was making recommendations for the balcony or downtown dwellings, my recommendation was to get a tree or a plant because we are surrounded by concrete. We need the reverse out here. You've got too much green space. We have none.
we need to throw down concrete. You need to throw up trees. It's,
exactly.
I was a student in New York City. I went to Ontario College of Art, and I was in this tiny, tiny apartment and alone for the first few months, not knowing anyone. And I thought, I can't stand being in this darn room. It's driving me nuts. But it was my only refuge, so I went out and bought me a little ficus or ficus benjamina. And not only did that become my best friend for a few months, but it just made me, when I went into that cement room, it made me feel more like I was in a place that was mine as opposed to a room I rented off of someone. And it made the world of difference to have that tree in my space.
Oh, for sure. And now you have fresh oxygen, right?
Yeah.
Little remnants of fresh oxygen. So it just gives every space life. I do a floral arrangement every week, a live floral, like a fresh floral arrangement every week, because again, it brings life into my condo. It brings life into my home. And I think these are small little touches that people need to, once you try it or once you do it, you'll make sure you do it time and time again.
What do you think of outdoor art in a balcony space then?
Oh, I think it's a great idea as long as it's weather resistant and it can stand up to the elements. I think what I actually had a client do. They had a structural column outside. This is where you have to be very, very careful because remember, in a condominium setting, the balcony or the outdoor space that you have exclusive use, but it still is a common element.
Yes, so they might have restrictions.
Yeah, so it's owned by the board. That's why you can't really put a clothesline on your balcony and hang clothes to dry.
Yeah.
Put garbage out there. So these clients had their column wrapped, which was a great idea with this vinyl sheeting, and it almost looked like graffiti. The good thing with that was very easily they could remove it.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it comes right off when they need it to. So I think again, it's whatever resonates with you. So whatever you feel is most important for you, in terms of like that will extend the usability or your lifestyle or your use of the outdoor space. I say do it. I mean, if having art out there, like for me personally, I love water features. I love the sound of.
Me too. Like a little fountain that you can. Oh God, yeah. I'd like one in my room just to usher me into sleep. That little babbling.
You know what? Exactly. But I have sirens. I live in Bloor, so I have sirens all night. So
yeah,
it's quite it's quite different. But it is what it is.
Yeah. No, I remember that from New York. Yeah, lots of sirens and the garbage trucks. But no.
Yeah, you get used to it. You get used to it. It's fine. That's
So. Do you have one favorite standby piece that you would suggest for most of your customers or clients? I mean, in terms of outdoor decorating, for me, it's a string of Christmas lights on the balcony. I don't know why, but a little, even white lights, just something about light, like the Christmas lights out there, just gives me this feeling of joy. I don't know why, but I love lights on my balcony.
I love that. For me, I've already written an article about this. It's having an outdoor fireplace. Cool. So in whatever capacity, having warmth on your balcony or porch or patio or backyard or 5 acres of land, whatever you have, waterfront, wherever it may be, it's just, and no matter what the season, it's just so beautiful to see a flame.
It's true, and it's ancient comfort,
right? Like I just talking about it, I feel.
I know, me too. I was thinking the same thing because I got a picture of, like I said earlier, that beautiful little. There's crystals on top of it. It's just about this big. It's not very tall, and it just has little flames. It's just gorgeous. Yeah.
So these burners work wonderfully. So you don't even have to be. It doesn't have to be elaborate. Like especially on a balcony, you can't really light a fire. You can't have a fire pit.
No,
have one with a propane tank. You can have ethanol fuel where you just basically pour it into a jar or reservoir or some sort of fire
container.
pit. You basically cover it to extinguish the fire. So it's just like no matter what the season. At night, it's just nice to have it. You get light out of it. You get warmth out of it. It's just a beautiful feeling. Yeah. So that would be my number one.
Awesome. Well, that'll be the recommendation for our tip of the week. Rizwan, I want to say thank you very much. This has gone by so fast. We could probably talk for another half hour, and I'm sure there's more topics we could talk about down the road. So perhaps we can do some more work together in the future. I'd appreciate it. And thank you very much for being our guest today.
Thank you for having me, and I look forward to our next discussion.
The State of Real Estate tip of the week this week is decorate your outdoor space. If you have a balcony or a deck or something, bring something into it to personalize it. You will enjoy that space much more and much more often. That's the tip of the week.
The State of Real Estate with your host, Gerry Lantain.